Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another First Impressions video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Hyrule Warriors. This title was sent to me by Nintendo Portugal so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. Now this is actually a title that I already played when I was at Gamescom 2014, and I actually really liked it. Because as you guys are probably aware, I'm a little bit of a fan of Dynasty Warriors games, and I am somewhat of a fan of Zelda. I mean, I do realize that for most people that probably goes the other way around, but regardless, this is essentially Zelda meets Dynasty Warriors. Now, I've played a little bit of it. I've played like, I think, 2 levels, and I've been playing in hard mode. But you guys will notice that everything is like grayed out because I essentially deleted my save. As a matter of fact, I deleted my save multiple times. Long story, it is not an issue of the game. It was simply because I wanted to reset my progress in the game, so I deleted my saves a bunch of times because I just wanted to start from the very beginning for this particular video. So we're gonna get to it. Let me just switch the difficulty level here to hard, because the game is actually, the first couple of levels at least are really easy, so unless you go into hard, I don't really think they're that challenging. So that would be my advice, just go straight into hard, so that you can be challenged. I mean, if you're watching my channel, you probably enjoy a good challenge. I mean, that's usually the way that I think about my subscribers anyways. So let's just get started. We'll go into legend mode. Legend mode is the story mode, and once we do the first mission, I'll then come back here and tell you guys about the other different modes that you have available for you. Okay, so that is the initial cinematic. You guys will notice there's a little bit of Zelda 8-bit art going on in the background as he picks up the Triforce at the end of the loading screen there. You're going to get some tips in the loading screen as well. These are fairly standard stuff. If you guys are familiar with Dynasty Warriors games, none of this should really be new for you. At least I don't really think so. You're going to get a little bit of a cinematic intro on each of the battlefields as well. This is Hyrule Field, which is the very first battlefield that you have access to. And here we are, you get just put straight into the action, and the controls are fairly, the controls should be fairly familiar for those of you that are familiar with the Destiny Warriors franchise, because this is essentially made by the same people, except it's obviously got the Zelda theme to it. So you're gonna see a lot of messages there. I have a hard time, like, when I'm doing commentary following those messages, because I'm just, like, trying to talk about stuff, and those messages are just going to start popping all the time. What's this? A new recruit. They're talking about you, obviously. But okay, they're gonna give us a couple of like tutorial messages, which I wish we could turn off. Whatever. We'll just keep on going, and we will try to make do with those annoying tutorials getting in the way anyways. But getting right back to the point, essentially this is going to control very much like a Dynasty Warriors game. So your Y button on the control pad or the gamepad. I'm using the Pro Controller, or whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be called. You know, the one that looks like a regular gamepad more than the Wii U pad. This is when we get our fairy, by the way. Where is the fairy? There she is. Now this is not Navi, this is actually Proxy. As you guys will notice, she is introducing herself in the bottom section there. Something that you guys will notice instantly is that there is no voice acting whatsoever. There is some voices, like at the beginning of missions, telling you the briefing of the mission and whatnot, so that will be a thing, but like during the mission, it's just text all the way, which I have to say is a little bit disappointing. Because it's just hard to follow everything that's happening on screen whilst killing everything and still like trying to figure out what's going on with those messages, particularly if you're doing commentary, like is my case. Right now they're just telling us, hold your ground, and someone is saying, oh, don't worry, Link is on the way. You'll notice that you're picking up a bunch of stuff from the ground as well, which are just typical power-ups that you will pick up. But something that I've noticed is that there are a lot of power-ups in Hyrule Warriors, like maybe a little bit too many, because I've never really felt the need to like use a potion or anything like that, which is a feature that becomes available later on. Then again, I've only played the first 2 levels on hard, so there is that. But as I was saying previously, before I got interrupted by a tutorial, let's hope we don't get interrupted by another tutorial. Your Y button is going to do your light attacks, your X button is going to do your heavier attacks, and comboing those two together like you would in any other Dynasty Warriors games is going to produce the combos that you want to make. Different characters will have different animations in their combos, and here's a first boss fight. Meet Volga. He's a very frustrated individual. This tutorial is actually useful because I was going to talk about lock-ons now, but essentially you can lock on to boss targets or like enemy captains or stuff like that, and that becomes useful because you will actually get a different camera perspective and it allows you to roll around them. You do get invincibility frames when you roll, which is pretty useful. That little gauge that you see on top of his head essentially means that when he does one of his stronger attacks, what's going to happen is he's going to become vulnerable for a little bit. So you want to take advantage of that and you want to strike him there, because once you break that gauge, it is going to allow you to perform like your own finisher move. So you'll notice that I'm dodging quite a bit. You can also block by pressing the left trigger. And now it is telling us about the weak spots that I just told you guys. So you can block or dodge, the decision is yours. But I mean, this guy is actually pretty much a pushover, because this is still like the first enemy, the first real enemy that you fight in Hyrule Warriors, so it is kind of to be expected that he wouldn't be too hard. Get out of my way, boy. You seem upset. Oh, wow. In comes Impa to save the day. How noble. Enjoy your shared grave. Oh no. And there, that's it. Game over. Of course not. Because Link is a beast. Could you be? Well, maybe I am. The boss is going to run away. You'll notice that we have some vases here that we can get. you will see an exaggeration of rupees, at least from my experience with Zelda titles. Usually you don't get that many rupees, but then again, you're going to need a bunch of rupees to buy yourself upgrades and stuff like that at the Bazaar, which hopefully I will still have time to show you before we finish the video, because there is still an embargo in place right now, which kind of limits the amount of time that I have to capture gameplay, which is why you guys are seeing me rush a little bit through the mission. I'm fairly familiar with this mission, so I don't think we'll fail. But yeah, that is the reason why I'm kind of rushing a little bit through things. You'll also see me perform the same combo multiple times, and that might lead you to believe, oh, so essentially you're going to repeat the same combo over and over throughout a 1,000 missions or something like that. And that is most definitely not the case, because as you level Link up and as you gather materials and all kinds of other stuff, you will be able to upgrade your attacks and your defense on the Bazaar, which will also grant you new combos and new toys and abilities to play with. Now you'll notice that we have two gauges on the upper left corner. Now there's a vertical one and an horizontal one, and the hearts are pretty self-explanatory, let's be honest. The hearts are your health. If you didn't know that, then I just don't know what to tell you. Also, you can chop the grass as you do in Zelda titles, and you do have items there, as you can see, which is kind of a little bit of a homage to the title. So it looks like we filled up one of our gauges that I wanted to talk to you guys about. The vertical gauge is your magic gauge, and essentially you can channel like what I like to call Link's Super Saiyan mode. And the other gauge, the horizontal gauge, essentially allows you to perform a special attack. So this is the special attack, which is pretty damn powerful, and that gauge actually fills up pretty fast, so you don't have to like hold back on that particular attack or anything. But this gauge takes a lot longer to fill, which is the magic gauge, and this is Super Saiyan Link. I like to call him Super Saiyan Link anyways. As you can see, basically he just becomes super fast, deals more damage, he's got more defense, he's just an upgraded version of Link. Also, you can channel all your energy into one final strike by pressing the same attack button as you would for your ultimate move. And there, we had a mission to actually kill this dude to save the Gorgon captain. You're going to be given different assignments as you play through different missions. So now, since we've completed an objective, the mine entrance is going to be open. So you want to go down there, there's going to be a treasure waiting for us. And that is actually a nice touch, because this is when when you can really see like the mixture of Zelda coming into the world of Dynasty Warriors, so to speak. Which is kind of weird to say that, because essentially we're in the world of Zelda, but we're playing like Dynasty Warriors. So here's a chest. I'm gonna open up this chest. Typical Zelda stuff. Dun dun dun! You got some bombs. Toss them at enemies for a devastating effect. They're also great for blowing up boulders. So, the way that you use bombs, and they're going to close the entry here for us so that we can actually have a reason to use the bombs. But the way that you use bombs in Hyrule Warriors is nothing like what you would do in Zelda, because in Zelda you have limited amounts of bombs. Here you just picked up the bomb item and you can just toss bombs whenever you want. You just press the right trigger and boom, bombs away. Right trigger or ZR, whatever the hell you want to call it. Boosh! And also you can blow up every kind of rock in the scenery now, so essentially you might want to like blow up all of the rocks, because you will find chests and other hidden stuff throughout the scenery. And not only that, but in some levels you can also find secret passages using the bombs. Like you will use the bombs and it will open a door, or you'll use the bombs and you'll open up a secret wall or something. You'll notice that there's going to be objectives flashing throughout the map all the time, which essentially is what you should be focusing on. So we're going to be moving to that particular objective right now. Now, in terms of graphics, I would like to grass on the I would like to swing by the graphics real fast. The graphics actually look really good, especially if taking into consideration this is the Wii U, which I know it's kind of unfair to say something like that, you know, especially if taking into consideration it's the Wii U. But let's face it, the Wii U is the least powerful of the current generation of consoles, so it is somewhat impressive that they can actually put the ridiculous amount of enemies that they are putting on screen, and the game still mostly runs at 30 FPS. Like, and I know, oh, it runs at 30 FPS, that's not that impressive, isn't it? Have you seen the amount of enemies that are on screen just right now? Look at it. Look at the ridiculous amount of enemies we have on screen right now. Like, are you kidding me? Now, there are a couple of times where you will see the frames dip down a little bit, and that is on account of the fact that sometimes you will have like enemy spellcasters casting all kinds of crazy particle effect spells and whatnot, and that will dip the frame rate a little bit, but not enough to really break your gameplay experience or to the point where it gets unplayable or anything like that. So the game runs like 90%, even more, I would say 95 to 96% of the time at 30 FPS, solid 30 FPS, and it does not dip down that often. Now, the way that you conquer these keeps like we just conquered is you have a bar at the very bottom of the map there whenever you enter a keep, and that bar will gradually reduce as you start killing enemies inside the keep, and eventually a boss will spawn, and once you kill that boss, you essentially take control of the keep. And you guys at this point are wondering, so essentially all we're doing is just slaughtering thousands upon thousands of monsters. And yes, that is the Dynasty Warriors part. The other part is obviously you got some Zelda mechanics in there, like blowing up these rocks, picking up additional items. And now here's another mechanic that I haven't told you guys about. These crystals, essentially what they do is there's going to be a captain close to these crystals, which you can see there, the outpost captain, that I can lock onto him. And that captain is causing that crystal to spawn enemy units. Once you kill that captain, you will take control of this crystal, and the crystal will start spawning your units. So from this point onwards, you'll notice that the crystal changed color to blue, whereas it was previously red. And as that happens, it's going to start spawning your soldiers as opposed to enemy troops. So there you go, we've pretty much completed our objectives here. And now we have another objective with it, which is capture Central Keep. So let's keep going through here. There's going to be something pretty cool that's going to happen if you guys haven't seen this level yet, because I'm also going to assume that some people probably played this level already, either at gaming conventions, or you might have seen other YouTubers post videos on it, because I do believe that people are allowed to post videos on it at this point if they've already had access to the game, which just happens to be my case. So let's get in there, and you guys will see something pretty cool happen. I don't think it's right now, but yeah, they're now telling you how you capture keeps, which I kind of already explained to you guys. It's not actually right now, but there's going to be something pretty cool happening. I can just tell you guys that much, because there's boss fights in this, and the boss fights I kind of feel are really the strong point of the game. So I'm really happy about that. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this title. As a matter of fact, I'm considering making a full series of this title in the channel, so that is something that I really want your feedback on, because I am kind of scared that like the action in this title is a little bit repetitive, so some people might not enjoy it as much, but I really want your feedback on that one, because I've just been having such a blast with this title that I've deleted my save twice just so that I could start over for video making purposes and whatnot, and I'm still just enjoying the game like to a ridiculous extent. Like, for instance, you guys will know that I've played recently, well, not very recently, but somewhat recently, I've played Dynasty Warriors 8. And recently, I've played Warriors Orochi 3, which a review, not a review, but a gameplay impressions video of that should be hitting the channel pretty soon. So you guys can look up to that if you're curious. But essentially what I wanted to say by mentioning this is that out of those two games, which are essentially made by the same developer as Hyrule Warriors, out of those two games, out of these three games even, Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors 8, and Warriors Orochi 3, I would have to say that the Hyrule Warriors actually seems to be the more polished title. And I don't know how to explain this, it's just the animation work is amazing. I really, really like the animations on this game. The graphics also look pretty good. I mean, they don't look amazing, but it is still 1080p. It is running at 30 frames a second, but it runs really solid. Like, it doesn't crap out on you, considering the just ridiculous amount of enemies that you have on screen. And it just feels really great to play, and that's the thing, because sometimes, like when I was playing those other titles from I guess I should call them Omega Force, which is the team that kind of takes care of the Dynasty Warriors franchise, I would, every now and then I would feel a little bit of a lack of flow in the combat, so to speak. It would be a little bit awkward, but more on that later. Now, let's talk about these things. The gold skulltulas are essentially a bug that will show up every now. I don't mean like a game bug or anything like that. I mean like an actual bug that shows up in the game every now and then. And what it does is it gives you like this illustration thing, which if you complete the illustration, you're going to get in-game perks or something like that. So we're going to try and get that one for you guys real fast here. Our objective is to the back, but the Skulltulas will only stay in the battlefield for a limited amount of time. So as soon as you see one, you'll want to go get it as fast as possible. Oh, there's actually a rock in here as well. Might as well break this. And there's a rupee thing here. I really need to stop wasting time though. It's just in my nature to just be a completionist dude and just like, oh man, gotta go get the Skulltula because it's there. I actually already know where this one is. It's just right there. You'll notice that the sound changes, the music goes away, and you start listening to this tick, 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 tick. That is essentially a way for you to guide yourself as to where the Skulltula actually is. Because as you see, as soon as you kill the Skulltula, the noise goes away. In terms of moving fast, like you're seeing me move fast right now, that is essentially automatic. So as soon as you start moving and you're not in combat, your character just starts zipping through the field like nobody's business, which kind of eliminates the need for a mount, which we have seen in some other Dynasty Warrior titles. I don't know if there will be mounts in this game or not, since I've only played the 2 levels at this point. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. But for now, let's just come over here and start opening this gate. There we go. You open the way to Fairy Fountain. Bust that. Bust that. And let's bust all of these vases. Again, the completionist in me, I just need to pick up everything. You'll notice that a lot of the stuff I'm picking up is money or materials. Materials, you guys will see what it's for once we're done with this mission. There's another cinematic. So that Queen Fairy is pretty sadistic if you ask me, because she essentially just murdered God knows how many. I didn't pay attention to the KO number, but she essentially just murdered all those people straight up, cold blood, with like a nuclear bomb, which was just flat out insane if you ask me. Each army has a morality level. Yes, there's also morality levels in armies, which will be shown by the units starting to glow. Now, I do get a feel that this is where the boss is going to spawn, and this is going to be a pretty epic fight for you guys here. I really, really like this fight. It should be around here. I'm already zipping to the location. Sorry, I'm kind of like rushing through the thing like I told you. I do have a limited amount of time to record. This is where it gets interesting. Unleash King Dodongo! Kind of reminds you a little of Monster Hunter, doesn't it? Anyways, he's going to come through here. He's probably going to bust down that gate. Come on, open up. I too must play my part. Go ahead, Impa. Why don't you go kill King Dodongo? Here he comes. So we can lock onto him just like we lock onto the other dudes, but this boss has a particular tactic to it, which you guys will see in a couple of seconds here. Defeat King Dodongo. You'll notice that I'm not dealing that much damage because essentially I am playing on hard mode, so keep that in mind. There we go. But it's not that it's going to be like super hard or anything, but it is challenging, which is something that I like. I really like the fact that this boss becomes more challenging on hard mode, which obviously makes sense. But what I mean by that is it's actually a challenge. As in, everything before this boss is really just plain easy. Wow, he's being even worse than before. For some reason, he is not giving me the attack that I want. Come on, give me that attack. You know you want to. I might just block this. The hell with that. There you go. Whenever he does that, you just chuck bombs into his face. And now we are going to actually channel Super Saiyan Link. Bring it on. That's right, get down. You'll notice that he's now got his weakened gauge on top of him. And we're going to channel our special energy attack as well. I'm not sure we didn't break his It didn't break his weak gauge there, which we're probably not going to be able to do. That's fine, though. We're going to save our special attack for the next one. Oh, shoot it. No, no, no. I missed it. Dodge it. Whenever he does that, like, sucking in attack, that is when you want to, like, throw your bombs into his face. Come on. Open up that big mouth of yours. I really do. I have to always mention whenever I see a game that does outstanding animation, and this is just one of those cases. I just really dig the animations on it. Throw those bombs in there. There you go. Eat that. And now do the special attack. Here you go. Open wide. And we've busted up his weak gauge. Boosh! That is the special attack that we get rewarded with. Still didn't take down that much health. Still gonna have to, like, grind him a little bit further. Come on. Oh, he's doing it again. Chuck those fire bombs in there. He's gonna get thrown out of balance again. As he gets thrown out of balance, once again, just start hacking away at him. You'll notice that it also gives you this sound cue indicating that you're doing things right. I kind of like that sound play where you just, like, get that little tip there indicating that, yep, that's exactly what we should be doing. I would like to see, like, some other weak spots in bosses. I'm not sure if that is going to be the case or not. Like I said, only played 2 levels so far, so still only first impressions. Come on, baby. Okay. Have some more bombs. But you see, this is a mechanic that you would not normally see in Dynasty Warriors, like throwing bombs into the mouth of a monster. That just does not take place in the universe of Dynasty Warriors. At least I don't think so. Then again, maybe I just haven't played enough of that. But this boss fight is just, like, super epic. I really enjoy it. Now, the reason you guys are seeing me just, like, go through it super fast because I already know what I got to do. So, in a way, it's kind of, I'm kind of almost cheesing it because I already know what needs to be done. But otherwise, it would be really challenging. I mean, can you imagine not even knowing what you're supposed to do in order to kill King Dodongo? You would be stuck here for quite some time, I would imagine. Come on. Almost got him. There's our special. Here you go. And we've wrecked him. So much for King Dodongo. That is going to be the end of this level. Excellent job, everyone. That's why we should never give up. General Impa, terrible news. The enemy wizard has seized the castle. Oh no. Not the castle. So the beast was just a distraction? Where is Princess Zelda? Is she safe? You'll notice that essentially you only have like these which I'm told is like typical of Zelda, but usually Dynasty Warriors had voice acting, but I'm wondering if Nintendo just told them, no, 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 don't do it. We're going to do it the Zelda style. So you've now unlocked Impa, and as you play through the different maps, you're going to unlock different characters that you can use, and these characters actually play quite differently from each other, which will give you different play styles to choose from, so that you're not always stuck to Link. However, like I said, there's also upgrades available at the Bazaar that will give you different play styles as well. So we're probably going to have a look at the Bazaar, and after that I am going to have to call it a video before Nintendo strikes me down for breaking the amount of gameplay that I was allowed to record.
It has been the object of countless battles between the
forces of light and darkness. I'm gonna skip through this because if you guys want to see the rest of the story, just like go ahead and probably get the game, because this gameplay should be enough to tell you guys whether or not you enjoyed it. You're gonna get extra rewards for playing it on hard, as you can see that it multiplied my rupees by 1.5. So I got 10,000 rupees, also got a knight's sword, another knight's sword. You're going to get drops. I've also gotten an old rag. This is a material that you can use for upgrades in the Bazaar. And we've also gotten the illustration piece that you guys will see show up there now. And once we complete this, we're going to gain perks that are going to give us some kind of in-game advantage. And we've unlocked all the modes. Essentially, when you complete the first battle is like a tutorial type of deal. So when you complete the first battle, you're going to gain access to all the other modes. When you're in a battle, you can have a notification automatically posted to Miiverse. No, we cannot post stuff to Miiverse right now, so that's not going to happen. Okay, so now we should take a trip to the Bazaar. We're going to use Link. You'll have to select which warrior you want to take into the Bazaar. We're going to go to the badge market. Yes, I know exactly which one. We're going to go to the defense badges because essentially the tutorial kind of forces us to come here and create empty bottle 1. But essentially what this does is, okay, thank you. This does is you got a bunch of badges that you can get at the Bazaar. And these badges will give you different passives as well as new combos. Like for instance, if you go to attack, you'll gain a new regular attack for the Hylian sword, which is going to be like, this is 7 weak attacks, whereas currently I believe you can only do combos of 4 or 5. Not 100% sure. And then once you go over here, you will get a new attack, which is a spin attack for the Hylian sword, which is holding X after a combo attack, and so on and so forth. This actually goes down all the way here, grants the warrior a 3rd special attack gauge. So there's a bunch of upgrades that you can get for your character. There's also going to be defense badges, which will upgrade you in defensive terms, nullifies knockback on the first hit taken from enemies. And there's going to be assist badges as well, which I actually still don't know exactly what these do. Speeds up the process of taking keeps. Okay. But you will have to get these materials from the levels that you play in. There's also a training dojo. This will allow you to level up your warriors. So essentially when you get a new character, it might not be the same level as your highest level character. This is something that's pretty typical for Dynasty Warriors games, because when you unlock new characters, they're not leveled up. And you can just level them up instead of having to go ahead and grind, but you have to pay for it. Then there's an apothecary, which gives you a temporary buff for the next stage that you play in. You can also do upgrades for the different characters, which will work differently. So Impa will have her own badges, and any other hero that you unlock will have their own badges, which you will need to farm materials for those as well. And that is essentially the Bazaar in a nutshell. Let's go back. Okay, so we got a couple of more modes. The free mode essentially lets you pick whatever scenarios you've unlocked so far. So we've beaten Hyrule Field. That is the only one we have. There's an adventure mode, and the adventure mode is just a little bit too complex to go into this video, but think of it as like mini challenges that you have to do whilst navigating a 2D style map that reminds you of old Zelda games. But essentially, as you navigate that map, you're going to have to do like smaller battles than the one you just saw with specific conditions, like beat 300 enemies under 10 minutes or something like that. Then there's a challenge mode, which essentially is just like you're going to have specific objectives to do that are going to be pretty challenging to complete. This adventure mode, though, is something that I definitely feel is going to have me coming back to it multiple times over. But unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to be something that I'm going to be able to show you guys, because this video is actually already over the limit. So definitely, I really enjoy what I've played so far of Hyrule Warriors. The video that you guys have seen up until this point should give you a pretty good idea of what the game is about. And something that I definitely want to hear from you guys is if you want to see more of Hyrule Warriors on the channel, because I am definitely enjoying it a lot. I'm just not sure if it's going to be very entertaining for you guys to watch or not. So I'm definitely considering making a full playthrough of it, but you guys gotta let me know your feedback if it's something that you guys feel would be cool on the channel or not. But if I do end up doing that, the next video you're gonna see is only gonna be after the 19th, because that's when the game releases in Europe, and that is going to be when I will be allowed to post more footage of Hyrule Warriors. But yeah. Okay, let's just skip through this and I can easily tell you guys. So what's going to happen is, like, for instance, you will notice that you have all these items. These will actually unlock items that you can use in the final game. So you'll have to navigate through this scenario. But first, you'll have to fight the first battle. So if you go here, you'll notice your objective, challenge battle. Defeat 300 enemies in 10 minutes. And if you move like here, you'll have a different challenge and you'll be able to get a piece of heart as treasure. If you go here, you'll be able to get like a sword, most likely. You'll be able to get a heart container as well as a piece of heart. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff that you can get through this mode, and it seems like a lot of fun. And there's some kind of online connectivity to it as well. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to look forward to. So something I forgot to mention in the video was the co-op mode. So while there is no online co-op for this title, there's a couple of online interactions that you can do, and you can help out other players by playing the adventure mode, but that's asynchronous multiplayer. but there's also couch co-op, and I really enjoy the way that they're doing couch co-op because essentially one player will use the Pro Controller to play on the television, the other player will use the Wii U gamepad screen and play on there. So instead of having that annoying kind of split screen experience, which even though it's great when you have it as an option, it's not usually an optimal way to enjoy a title. You do get to play it with the Wii U gamepad and the television as separate screens, which is a much better experience in my opinion. However, I do also have to mention that it seemed to me like the footage on the TV will be slightly lesser quality. It looks like they downgrade the resolution a little bit. The textures don't look as sharp than if you are playing by yourself, which is kind of understandable since the Wii U essentially has to render out both screens. So yeah, but definitely it's great to have that co-op option in there, and I can see that being a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying what I've played so far of Hyrule Warriors. You guys let me know if it's something that you guys would like to see on the channel or not. But as per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.